Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. It's Mark and Garyana Free, it's Wednesday, and that means another video. I already said that. I'm in a good mood today, I don't know why. I think it's because it snowed again outside. Like last time I did a ranking dances done to the same song video, it was snowing and it snowed again now, and I don't know, snow really brightens up my mood because it brightens up the day, brightens up the sky, everything reflects off it because it's nice and white. Yeah, I'm just in a good mood. So today we are doing part 3 of ranking dances done to the same song on the next step, and I'm pretty sure there's only around 6 songs left once we've done these, so I don't know whether I'll do a part 4. Maybe if I can compile 10, like enough for a video, I'll do them. But if you haven't seen part 1 and 2, basically the premise of this video is that we look at a song used on the next step for multiple different dances, and I, in my opinion, decide which one was the best. Also, I'm not including rival teams dances, even if it's used the same song. It's purely what's done on the next step and by the members of the next step. I have made a few mistakes in the past, like just forgetting who wasn't actually a part of the next step. Bear with me. Before this video starts, I just want to remind you that I am having a Zoom celebration for Mark and Garyana Free's 2nd birthday. If you haven't seen the informative video, then I'll leave it down below and I'll put the thumbnail on screen now so you can see. Click on this video. But there's literally less than 10 tickets left for the 6 p.m. time. So if you want one of those tickets, definitely go check that out and grab them before they sell out, because I'm hoping they will sell out. That'd be so, I didn't think they would sell out. So it would be super cool if it does. There are still tickets available, plenty of them for the 7 a.m. time, the UK time. But yes, on with the video. So we're going to kick it off with Control, and this was heard in season 4 when everyone was auditioning to be in the quintet, I think, but because they all don't do a full solo, I don't think it was objectively fair to rank them, so I'm not including that. But I am including LaTroy's solo that he does, LaTroy and Sloane's duet they do, and B-Troop in season 7's routine. And this dance is on fire, everyone lose control. Third out of the 3 of them, I have put LaTroy's solo. I think it's okay. I think the intensity is there and he's really on the beats and the rhythm is good, but it just seemed to kind of trickle off, and it started strong and it ended like a little bit lower in stamina and the energy and stuff. It just wasn't my favourite. There were a lot of filler movements I felt, and it kind of just felt like he was going through the motions rather than going through the motions in an emotional and expressionate way. It just kind of seemed like he was filling time to get to the end of the dance, whereas it started quite strong. Second, I have put Sloane and LaTroy's duet that they do. In a similar way to how I ranked LaTroy's solo, it was a recreational thing, so obviously it's not meant to be competition worthy and like full force, but I felt like it started a lot stronger than it finished. What I thought was better than LaTroy's solo though was that they had more chemistry, obviously because there's 2 of them, but they have a good chemistry between them. It's a really good vibe. I feel like the energy is just up more because there's 2 of them bouncing off of each other. And I felt like they danced their best really, and being able to dance with each other and show their styles very strongly complemented them, and it worked in their favour. So that means obviously it's B-Troop that I've got first place. Now I thought that the use of formations and just the blend of different styles worked really, really well. B-Troop's Control routine is the kind of contemporary style that I like. At different parts, like at the end when they use their breath, I really, really like that. There's a lot of season 7 dances I think that are very much my style and what I like to watch and what I like to do. I think there was a really good use of choreographic techniques. So for example, the cannon movements, partnering, different sections blended into each other's. But I did think that the different sections were a little bit fragmented, and I would have liked to see them come together as a whole more and just integrate each other better, rather than it be, okay, you 3 come in, now you 3 disperse, you 3 come in, you 3 disperse. I would have preferred it if it was like, I can't remember what the name of the technique is called, but you set like a piece of choreo and then you split it between people. So for example, if it started with a roll, you'd have one person do the roll, and then if it moved on to a cartwheel, you'd have someone come in on the cartwheel section, so now there's 2 people, then 3 people, so it kind of like integrates them better. Also, I don't think Grace's lift was the best. I don't think it was very clean. I feel like they could have used a better one. Also, even though Jude was only doing the final section because she couldn't remember the choreo, I felt like it was a bit out of nowhere and she didn't really blend well. It was like, oh yay, look at me, I'm smiling, I'm Jude, and now I'm doing this solo section. And I don't feel like the choreo used for the solo section really blended with the others. I think it might have worked better if it was kind of intense, her coming out of nowhere, so it was like, wow, whereas it was kind of like, oh, why is she coming out of this bit? Then we have All We Need, which was a song created by Noah and Amanda in season 4.
All we need is some royalty, you know. All we need is some hip-hop and soul, yeah. Ooh, sha-la-la.
But there was a tap duet done by Grace and Marcus in season 7. There was a trio between James West and Alden, and also Henry did his scholarship audition for this, so I was going to include it, but then I remembered I didn't include Kingston's scholarship solo in my last video, so I'm not going to include Henry's scholarship solo. But if you want to know my thoughts on that, you can watch my ranking the scholarship auditions video. I'll put it up here now, so go watch that video if you want to hear my thoughts on all of the scholarship auditions and who I think should have actually won. So second of the two, I have put Grace and Marcus's tap duet. I thought it was really good. You know, it was really nice to see tap on the show. It was very technical and it had a good performance quality. I feel like they used their faces very well. They went into the movements. It wasn't just literally their feet moving and there was nothing there on their faces. But I do think that the timing wasn't the tightest at times. And they haven't actually released a full version of this yet. I don't know whether they will, but obviously I can only go off what we saw in the episode. But using the quality of what we did see and presuming that that's what it is for the rest of the duet, it's just second for me, but it's not bad. It's just not amazing. So the trio obviously wins, and I just think the charisma and personality is something that I really wish we'd had more of in season 7. It began quite recreational, but then the choreography hits and it really gets really hard and technical, and you could just tell that the stamina and the energy needed for it is just like really up there. The like dance skill needed is up there as well. I think it's such a good trio, and I just love how their personalities come through and they make it look easy even though it's clearly difficult. Yeah, I think it's definitely an underrated trio. We then have Broke Free, and this was done by Talia and Alden and Amy, Cassie and Alfie's trio in season 4. So second place, I've put the trio. I really didn't like this trio when I first saw it because it felt like Cassie was kind of the third wheel. There wasn't a single unison part other than Alfie and Amy doing their back handsprings or front handsprings, I don't know, which would have been fine, but I just didn't really see why that was necessary in the dance. It just didn't really feel very well rehearsed or well structured. It kind of felt like, oh, you know what, we'll have moments where we'll come together because we're meant to be a couple or something, and Cassie, because you're the fairy godmother, just be like this. So first place of the two, I put Talia and Alden's duet that they do in season 6. I think it was really nice to see them dance as mature adults, because obviously we saw them dance in season 3 and they did a duet together when they were like teenagers. But the duet that they do in season 6 has a lot more of a mature vibe to it, and it's nice to see them just be themselves but complement each other's movements. There are parts in it that I think kind of stick out badly. So for example, Talia doing her elbow stand, I didn't feel like that fitted very nicely. I think she could have done something else that blended and complemented Alden's. I think he does a split leap and then turns or something, but I just feel like it's more cohesive and structured and just has a more solid vibe. We then have Mountains, and Mountains is one of my favourite songs on The Next Step, and it was Michelle's solo rehearsal, which you might not remember because I didn't. Riley's solo obviously in season 4, and Noah and Jackie's duet that they do in season 6 when they break up. My heart. So in third place, I have Jackie and Noah's duet, which kind of hurt me to put it here, but you know, it's third out of 3. It's not terrible. It's super emotional, but in terms of ranking dances done, it is more of a recreational dance, and if it was put on a stage, I don't think it would do that well because there's a lot of running around and just chasing each other. Then they sit down, and the part where Noah kisses Jackie's cheek, I can't. It's so cute. And then when he holds her hands and pulls her and then kisses her, oh my gosh, I love it. It's such a good duet. If it was an emotion competition though, Jackie wins. Like, Jackie's the winner. Second, I have put Riley's solo, and I also really love this one. Riley's style, like I spoke about earlier about dances that I like, Riley's contemporary style is one of my favourites. I think Riley really connected to the song and the lyrics that he was saying. You could tell that she was really in it and just dancing for herself. It didn't seem like she was meant to be doing a choreographed dance. And I think that even in the moments of stillness where she's just meant to be like breathing, or when she turns to the mirror at the very, very end, she still stays in the moment. It's not like, oh, the dance is over now. You can tell that she's emotional and she's clinging on to those moments of stillness still and performing them as they should be performed, because they are choreographed moments of stillness. It's not just, okay, then have a break, and then we're going to do an illusion, you know what I mean? Her effort really does stay 100%. Her emotion is 100%. It feels very real, but I put it second to Michelle Solo because I think if they directly went against each other, and we saw an extended version of Michelle Solo, because we don't, I got into that in a second, I think Michelle would outdance her potentially. So let's talk about Michelle Solo, which I put first. So I didn't even remember that she did this, but it's in the episode where they decide who dance captain should be, and after Michelle's done the solo, she says she doesn't want to be dance captain. I think there is a lot of strength in Michelle's movements from the get-go, which I really, really like from her. You can tell she's given it 100%, and I really like to see her do floor work. Floor work's one of my favourite contemporary things, which is odd because when I was at university doing floor work, I used to hate it. Also, this leap or trick that she does here, I think it's really, really good. I don't know what it's called, but I just think her transitions generally are very, very smooth, because obviously this was going to be Michelle Solo at regionals if Sloane didn't have to do it instead. I think she would have won, honestly, but we didn't get to see a full extended version of this dance. But like I said for earlier other dances, if we base the quality of what we did see, presume that it's the same quality throughout, I think she would have outdanced ultimately Riley and Noah and Jackie's duet. But please, Michelle, tie your hair up. We then have No Problems, which was done by Michelle and West in season 5, and Jackie and Rochelle had a battle duet in season 6. In second place, I have put Rochelle and Jackie's duet battle thing, and I remember watching this for the first time. I really liked it. I love how the tension and it built up. I think that was really, really cool. I feel like the difficulty of the moves done was really up there, and both girls, like whichever moves they chose to do in the battle, they really did well. I loved the headstand up to like standing. I really love that trick. I want to learn. I really want to learn it at some point, but I put it second because I feel like the unison section wasn't the cleanest it could have been, and I also feel like the style of the unison didn't really suit Jackie nor Rochelle very well. I don't know, I feel like it could have been a lot more like the hotel routine, that kind of unison, because I think that suits them more. So I put Michelle and West's duet first. I think Michelle really ups her game for it. Like, imagine being in a duet, a hip-hop duet with West. Like, you've got to bring it, otherwise you're going to stick out like a sore thumb as being the weakest dancer. But I think Michelle really gives her all. She really tries to not be seen as the weakest dancer. The part in particular that I love is when she does the tilt on West. I think that's such a good bit. It matches the music so well as well. I just think that overall, what's it called? The components of the dance, the music, the choreo, the vibe, the energy, the emotions, the expressions, I think they all just fit very, very well. We then have fist pumps, and this was done by Kingston when he does a solo, and also TNS West's battle against TNS East to see who will be going to regionals in season 5.
Fist bumps, 'cause we go to 11. Fist bumps like it's 1987. Come on.
So in second place of the two, I have put Kingston's solo. I think that Kingston's energy in season 5 is just so contagious. You could tell he's just kind of cheeky and immature, and he's still like a kid back then. He's kind of grown up a bit now, and I'm not a fan of Kingston, not gonna lie. I think it is a little bit repetitive as well, but the tricks that Kingston does, like the back handsprings, I don't even know if they're called back handsprings. Someone let me know down below. They probably are, I don't know. The back handsprings where he alternates his arms, stellar. I've talked about them in the last video, I think, but I just think they're so impressive and so good. I don't know if he can still do them. He doesn't do them in season 7, I don't think, but I'd like to see that again in season 8 if there is one. Please. But yeah, overall it just kind of seemed like he was running out of things to do in certain parts, and the ending is a bit awkward for me. So in first place is TNS West, who were robbed in my opinion. I really think TNS West deserved to win the battle against TNS East. I feel like TNS East's routine was quite messy at times, and it didn't seem as well put together as TNS West's. The energy also wasn't there for me with TNS East, even though they had some impressive things. Like I remember Rochelle's, she gets pulled up in the air and then she straddles her legs. I think that is very impressive. I like that. Sometimes like Rochelle stumbles, and The bit where they're going down into a snake, I'm sure they're not all in time. I think Lola does her leg lift too early. Elliott seems a bit like he's just there for the sake of Elliott having them in the dance. So it's not my favourite, and personally I think TNS West should have won. I think they had so much more passion and fire than TNS East. The choreo seemed harder for a lot of people. I don't know, TNS East seemed very comfortable with their choreo. I feel like TNS West pushed themselves more. It also has a lot of variation, so it's not just all solos and everyone showing their individual best moves. I feel like they came together as a team very well. I think they had great stage presence, and yeah, I just think it's better than Kingston Solo, and in the grand scheme of things, I think it should have beaten TNS East. We then have Top of the World, which was done by TNS East at the battles, which is why I've talked about it after TNS West, and also Amy and Piper's duet.
And when we're on top of the world, we're gonna take the power and we'll never give it back.
So second is Amy and Piper's duet. I think both girls show their strengths very, very well. I like seeing Piper do her leg hold. No, not leg hold. Yeah, it's a leg hold without the hands, basically, isn't it? A tilt? I don't know. And Amy did her tricks very well as well. And the stamina was also there, and you could tell they were dancing for a purpose, which I think they always need to be doing in every single routine. Think of what the purpose is. But I don't think the style showed them to their fullest potential. So with a different song and the ability to just do what they do best, I think Piper and Amy could create a beautiful duet. And I kind of wish we'd seen one by now. So hopefully, if there's a season 8, we'll get one. But anyway, TNS East are first. So I kind of mentioned these things already, but I feel like the timing wasn't the best for TNS East's routine. And I don't think the song overall was powerful enough for them. I think they could have done with a much more heavy song where they could really go out with all these tricks. The songs kind of seem too mellow for me. There is one section though where I feel like Jackie is the only one with the correct expression. It's when they're doing this. I don't know, it's something to do with this, and then they go like this. But Jackie's face is what I feel like their faces should have been throughout, and I feel like they were very blank all the way through. I've put them above Piper and Amy because I feel like the difficulty level was higher, and also it had more of an element of surprise, and that's probably because Piper and Amy's duet was the basic version of what they did because Amy was doing it in order to get onto the team. So I just think overall TNS East outdanced them, but I like both of them and there were flaws within both. We then have Saviour, done by Presley in season 7 and Elliott in season 5.
Yeah, I'm the savior. Talk of the town.
So second place I put Elliott because personally I don't think it's that great a solo. I think there's some awkward choreographic bits that don't really suit him very well, and also the song doesn't suit the style that he's dancing. I feel like it wouldn't have hurt to give him a less powerful song to show his technique better, because it kind of felt like he had to change the way he was dancing to fit the song. His technique was beautiful though, I'm not gonna knock him for that at all, and I like at the towards the end where he has a little bit more sass and he goes towards Michelle, I think. So it's good, I just think there are a lot of areas where it could have been better. Presley is first for me though, because I think Presley's intensity and musicality in this routine is so good, and her technique, her flexibility, I don't know, it's just such a good solo from Presley. I put Presley above Elliott because I think that Presley had more intensity than him. I just think Presley's solo is much better fitting for the song, and Elliott's just didn't fit it at all. He just didn't have the intensity that I think was needed for it. And none of the moves looked awkward for me. It looked very much like it was a Presley solo to a Presley song. We then have Rome, which is obviously known as Henry and Amy's song, but it was also done by Henry as a solo. So it's Henry's solo, Henry and Amy's parking lot duet, and Henry and Amy's duet in Studio 1. There are multiple variations of the song, there's 2 I believe, but I'm kind of classing it just as 1 because it's still the same song.
I feel like I woke up in Rome, but my surroundings are the same. It's the perspective in my mind that's different.
I feel like I woke up in Rome. The world around me is the same, but the feelings in my heart are changing.
So in third place, I put the Studio A duet that they do in season 7. Now, I think the chemistry was really good, but I don't really get why they changed from doing the original song, because the episode started off with Henry doing a solo, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and he was using the original Rome song, and then they changed it to this slower variation of Rome, and I don't think that fits them well. It fits the mood, like it's supposed to be a kind of leading up to them having a romantic moment, but both Henry and Amy, I feel like, could really bring it to the harder hitting, faster, more poppy Rome song, especially Henry, because that's what he started off doing his choreo to. I think him then mellowing it down and doing more of a contemporary based routine didn't fit him well. It just felt a little bit restricting using that song, and I think certain parts don't fit it, and there's only certain times where they can up the ante and bring more energy to it. So it's just not my favourite, but I do like the bit where they do the kip ups. I think that's good. Second, I have put Henry's solo to Rome, and I just think Henry overall is such an underrated dancer, and I wish he'd been able to dance a solo at Dance Mania, or just even if they'd gone to nationals, be male soloist. I kind of want Henry, if there's a season 8, I want Henry to stay just so he gets his moment to shine, really, because he's been on the show since season 4. He's never really had that much of a big moment for him other than with Henry and with Amy. I just want something for him. I want him to be able to show his potential. I really love it when the beat kicks in and he does the really, really fast bit. I just think Henry's overall charisma, and you can tell the routine is very Henry-like. I think I said for West in my last video that the basketball routine he does just screams West, and you can tell he's just dancing for himself but still having a really high difficulty level and performing. That's what Henry does. You can tell this is just Henry's personality coming through. He's dancing for himself. It's just a really good solo, and I think it's super underrated because it doesn't even have that many views on the YouTube channel compared to, say, other people's solos. And yeah, I really wanted to do an audio swap to it for Mark and Garyana too, but I just haven't found the perfect song yet. So one day I'll find the perfect song and I'll use it. But yeah, underrated. Henry overall is underrated. I think that all of Henry's moves were very well thought out and structured. I really like how it built up. It started on the bench, then it moved to the main studio. He used the space very well. The movement itself was good, which means in first place, the parking lot duet that Henry and Amy do. And I feel like this was restricted by the outfits and also the setting done in. So I'm taking that into account. I'm not counting it as like a downer, but honestly I don't even think it hindered them that much. I know it was just them rehearsing the routine that they were planning to do in front of. I don't want you to bring that in, please. No, it'll make a mess and it's cold.
This is for you.
I don't want it on the bed.
Show your viewers.
It's a snowball. It's a snowball. Can you take it away? It's gonna melt.
Bye.
No, please. I don't have the window. Okay, I'll have to put it in the bath.
You put it in the laundry.
No, don't. No. Leave.
I might go put it in the freezer so I can keep it.
No, because it's dirty. Have you seen what's in it? Snow. What are you doing? If you put the snowball in the toilet?
Yeah.
That's not going to flush.
Of course it will, it's water.
Yeah, but it'll block the toilet. It's still a ball of ice, so we're going to have to wait to use the toilet until it's melted.
I'll just flush it out.
No, don't, Jacob! The things like the barrel roll, it's kind of like an adapted barrel roll. It was good, where they hold their hands and then flip them over. I liked that. And the fact that they did back handsprings on gravel, I think is very admirable. Overall, when they danced, I think they showed so much of their personalities and their charisma, and they really just attacked the movements. I think when it started, it was quite slow and it just seemed like they were just having fun. But then when the choreography actually kicked in, I was really, really impressed, and I just think that they really held it up throughout. So then we have the legendary song that is Fire.
Because you set me on fire. Your love is just like a flame. You're burning me on fire, and I will never be the same.
We have Piper's solo against Michelle, Amanda's battle solo, Rochelle's battle solo, Giselle's battle solo, Michelle's solo in season 7, and Piper's solo that she does at the end of the episode where she battles Michelle, but she does it alone in Studio A. So at the bottom we have Piper's solo that she does against Michelle in the main episode setting. So Michelle kind of gets into Piper's head and she doesn't do the solo very well. She falls out of things, she doesn't fully extend on her extensions, her face isn't there, she's not in the routine, her stamina is super low, she doesn't have much energy, and you can just tell it's not Piper's day. I didn't even hear that door open, the other one.
Very sneaky.
Wait, no, I have to use that for my lights. So yeah, overall, the solo is just messy. It's not Piper's best, so she goes at the bottom. So above Piper, we then have Amanda's battle solo, and I think this is one of Amanda's best routines, in my opinion. I think she dances her best that we've ever seen. I really like how she used her strengths and her own ability to just show herself. She didn't try and dance the way that she wasn't. So for example, Amanda put the cartwheel in her routine. You don't see many dancers doing cartwheels on Asia because cartwheels are kind of, I guess, looked down upon in comparison to aerials. But I like how Amanda used her strengths in a routine where she was supposed to be using her strengths. And I think that whole phrase of her doing the leap into this turns, she does chaîné turns into a cartwheel, into a leap, I think is super good. And I think her leap is perfect. She has great technique with that. Her extensions are also very good, so are her turns. I think she could have afforded to be a bit more charismatic though. I would have liked to see the kind of emotion she gave and expression she gave in season 2 at nationals, where she was sassy at times and also she smiled. I think she could have afforded to do that, even if it was given a sassy look to Elite or a smiley look to the next step or something like that. And also, I do think she stumbled at the very end in her ending position, which is obviously a little bit of a markdown. But overall, I really like how the performance built, and I think it's one of Amanda's strongest. Above Amanda, we then have Rochelle's battle solo, which we literally see about 20 seconds of. I think the full I could probably include the whole thing without it getting copyright striked. So she started super strong and very, very intense, and she gave 100%, but I think Rochelle was super focused and it didn't seem like she was fully putting her personality into the routine. So how I said about West dancing for himself and showing who he is through dance, Rochelle kind of just blasted out these few moves. But if we consider that what we saw being the intensity and the power throughout the whole routine, I think it would have been super good, and she should have beat a max in my opinion. I think her tilt that she does is impeccable. When she jumps into a turn, then she freezes in the tilt. Like, love it.
I think Rochelle and Amanda are pretty even on their stage presence, so basing it just off the choreography, I think Rochelle has the upper hand because of the difficulty level, her technique and her power.
I just really would have liked to see Rochelle kind of bring a whole different personality to it. So walking up to Max and like giving him the eye and showing like eyeing up Lucian and the whole of Elite. I feel like Rochelle would have done that probably in season 2, but season 3 she was kind of knocked, her confidence levels were.
Above Rochelle, we then have Michelle's solo.
I think it has such a good vibe to it, and I wish that everyone danced with the same kind of passion and emotion that Michelle does. You can just tell Michelle loves dance. I just love Michelle's musicality and that she gives 100% to every single move while still showing enjoyment and not making it look like it's terribly difficult on her face. You can tell she's just dancing. In terms of the choreo itself, I feel like it could have been a little bit more varied because there was a lot of leaps in it from what I remember. But there were choreographic elements that I really like. So when she does she like just a little hop on a bevel. It's really hard to describe dance moves, but I'll insert the ones I'm talking about. And she uses her arms super well. I think her transitions are also very good. I think she was just more charismatic than the people I've put below her. And even movements like the body rolls that she does, I just think they make us love her because they're like, yes, I love Michelle. She's so perfect. I don't know. There's just something about Michelle. She just radiates this beautiful energy.
Second place, I've put Piper's redo of her solo.
This is another one where I think it's super underrated, and I think it's one of Piper's best routines, honestly. I think this one and Parallel World are my favourites personally from Piper. I really wish they'd uploaded the extended version though. I just think Piper is so graceful and passionate in this, and her energy really is 100% throughout. She's charismatic, she has the stage face, she brings her own personality to it. She does everything that I said the people below her didn't do, basically, and I think that her movements itself and the choreo are well, maybe not one up, but they're equal to everyone else, and it doesn't lack anywhere for me. She does herself proud. She does the solo as she was supposed to do the solo the first time, and I do think she really made herself proud. It was worth the wait, and I'm very proud of little Piper in that scene. The choreo has a really good flow to it, and she transitions really nicely between the movements. Even the moments of stillness, like I spoke about for Riley earlier, she still is dancing in those moments of stillness. I just feel like it stayed 100% throughout in every single area, and it's one of my favourite Piper solos. Super underrated though, because I feel like when people think of Fire, they just don't think of that solo. So yeah. But in first place, Giselle was super confident in her own ability, and I think she brought what Rochelle didn't. So she brought a bit more of her fiery personality to it. She was charismatic. She switched very well from being happy at times to serious and sassy and passionate, and I would have liked to see that from Rochelle, but obviously Rochelle was quite young then, so I'm not going to knock her too much. She's still learning, she's still growing. I think Giselle felt the music very well and was very good with her musicality.
I feel like Giselle embodied fire the most. She just had the power, the stage presence, the technique, and everything needed.
That concludes our ranking dances done to the same song video. We still have a few left, so if you'd like me to make a part 4, let me know down below. There probably might not be 10, I don't know. I'll try and find at least 10 songs to finish off this kind of series, I guess. I really want to be a judge on a dance TV show or something like that. Yeah, I'm all for analysing and judging, and yeah, I'm a judgmental queen. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you then, guys. Don't forget that I've got less than 10 tickets left for my 6 PM Zoom birthday celebration for Marking Ariana Free. She's going to be turning 2. So if you want a ticket to that, make sure you get them quickly before they sell out. I'll be sending out emails on... When am I sending them? Today, when this video goes out, you should have received an email just giving you a few more details. I'll also be sending one out on Sunday, an hour before the Zoom is supposed to start. So just make sure you check those emails. I'm super excited and I hope you guys are too. So that's it from me for this video. I'll see you on Sunday. Bye!
That's right. Don't need no